the most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Well, hello and welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for joining us here tonight on the Turn 3 Racing Network for Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer here at Richmond International Raceway for the GrassRoots 200. These drivers going to put them cup cars out there and get around this track just as fast as they can, and I'm sure we're going to see a little bit of short track action. We all know how that kind of racing can play out from time to time. Looks like we've got about 6.5, almost 7 minutes remaining here in the happy hour. So we'll go through, give you a little bit of track information, sponsor information. There you see right there, Mug Root Beer, title sponsor for Superior Class Auto Racing. Little Takes Cupcakes also sponsoring here in Superior Class Auto Racing. Red Dot Storage, Cameron Hagman Photography. Also First Horizon, a lot of other great companies, organizations involved here in the Superior Class Auto Racing. And well, race number 10 on our hands here tonight under the lights at Richmond International Raceway. And it looks like Case and Plot, he's starting to walk away with a little bit of a points lead. Look forward to seeing some graphics on that come next week. We'll get that all hooked up for you and ready to go. But nonetheless, your point standings look a little something like this. Case and Plot sitting at the top of the standings with 4 wins on the season right now, and he has got quite a little lead there. Second position, John Ballou, Justin Napier sitting in 4th, Bobby Hamilton Jr. in 4th, Tommy D'Angelo rounding out your top 5, Travis Smith, rookie in the Superior Class Auto Racing, sitting in 6th, Brian Littleton, Brian Skell Jr. following him in 8th, Mark Truxell back in 9th. A little early in the season to count Truxell out. Look for him to be strong, have some strong runs coming up here in the near future. Some great tracks for Truxell coming up. J.D. Baker going to round out your top 10 in the point standings. So I tell you what, you didn't come here tonight to just listen to me talk. So why don't we see who's out there on track? Matter of fact, let's see if we can't jump on board with that 25 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. as he continues to shake down the car. Oh, and into the outside wall. Tough break there for Bobby Hamilton Jr. Maybe blowing a tire right there or something. Not quite sure. J.D. Baker right here in his 77 machine working his way off of turn number 2. 5th on the speed charts here in happy hour with just a little over 4 minutes remaining for these drivers. Will strap in and get ready to go qualifying here tonight. And the track, as I showed you earlier, the track temperature is pretty cool. 70 degrees out there on track for these drivers. So maybe getting a false sense of grip with the air temperature. Maybe that's I'm not quite sure. Oh, and up and around. Oh, J.D. Baker sent himself flying. That's one of them iRacing glitches right there. Found the sweet spot and kabang. Watching as Brian Littleton in his chrome Michelob Ultra Chevy Z01 Camaro makes its way through turns 1 and 2. I believe that is Alan DuFries right behind him in the 71, if I'm not mistaken. Absolutely, that's who it is. Familiar looking paint scheme on that 71 machine. These two seem to be mixing it up just a little bit here. With right about 3.5 minutes now remaining in happy hour. And 86 starting to go around there. Oh, and sounded like a little bit of hard contact with that outside wall. we'll step back, see if we've got anybody else out there driving. Looks like Mickey Spears out there right now, turning some final laps before he gets ready to strap in for qualifying. And, yeah, man, just a great night on our hands here. Last week, not being able to be here, my wife's birthday, so, you know, had to take care of that. But, yeah, these drivers nonetheless continued to carry on last week. And if I'm not mistaken, if I've seen it correctly, Case and Plot actually got the race win last race out. Yes, indeed, it was Case and Plot taking the win at Dover. David Bradford walking away in second that last race. Brian Littleton in third. Roy Hyde finished in fourth. And J.D. Baker rounding out the top 5 last week at Dover for race number 9 in this 14 race season. So it's about time. It's about crunch time here for these drivers to try to make a run for the championship if they can. But I'm not quite so sure anybody can run down Case and Plot at this point in time. I mean, he is well up the charts. About 19 points, actually. That's gonna take a big points day to make up in one or two races. Yeah, these drivers gonna have to get after it. Nobody being able to take Bobby Hamilton Jr. off of the top spot here in Happy Hour. Still sitting on top of the speed charts with a 2020. That's about 2/10 faster than the second place runner right now, Jeff Napier. So Napier not quite on track where he needs to be. But can Bobby Hamilton Jr. Replicate that quick time in qualifying? We're getting ready to see. So we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break, pay some of the bills here at Turn 3 Racing Network. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with all your qualifying action.
Hi, I'm Johnny with Little Tate's Cupcakes. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's race on the Turn 3 Network. Little Tate's Cupcakes is a bakery based out of Owensboro, Kentucky. We specialize in cookies, cakesicles, cakes, and cupcakes for every occasion. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram for more of our work and for daily specials. Go number 5.
As promised, right back trackside for you. Not going to miss any of your qualifying action as Happy Hour now coming to a close. So things will switch on over and we will get ready to head into qualifying here at Richmond International Raceway for the GrassRoots 200 here for Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. Man, I tell you what, gonna be a heck of a night. Nobody hitting the track just yet. Looks like Thomas McMullen, maybe the first driver out there to try his luck tonight. So we'll go down trackside with Thomas as he makes his way around this track in his Valvoline Chevy Z01 Camaro. Gonna be a quick, fast one. J.D. Baker also out there on track now, beginning his timed laps. Jeff Napier also on track. Mickey Spear. As more drivers, and a little bit of trouble there for McMullen coming off of 2. That's gonna slow this run down a little bit. Loose right there in 3 and 4. Looks like this lap is a throwaway. Gonna have to give it all he's got on this second time lap. We'll continue to watch as some of the drivers turn in their qualifying laps. There you see kind of a who's where and what they're doing sort of thing. Joshua Baker sitting on top of the speed charts right now with that pole position with a 22.6. We'll have to see if anybody can take back the top spot at 22.18. Quick time for Thomas McMullen. Jeff Napier now sitting in third. Mickey Spear out there on track for his time lapse. Justin Napier also going actually back down pit road. We still got a few drivers out there left to qualify. McMullen sits on top of your pole here tonight. Jeff Napier right up there next to that outside wall. Not going to be good enough to knock McMullen off. We'll take a look now as Colt Ansley brings his 86 machine around the track, trying to take that top spot away. Oh, and into the wall. That's going to spell trouble. We'll look now. Driver who was fastest in happy hour, 25 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Here we see him coming through, I believe that's coming through 3 and 4. Yes, it is, crossing the line to begin his first time lap here in the GrassRoots 200. Live on Turn 3 Racing Network. Little sideways there for the 25. He's going to gather it back up. This lap's pretty much looking like it's going to be a throwaway. Going to have to use that second lap to try to get everything he can out of the car. Crossing the stripe, very close to that outside wall, but puts in a time good enough to go third on the speed charts. Can this second time lap be any quicker? A 22.49. That first time lap for Bobby Hamilton Jr. We'll see if he can make it through 3 and 4. Hugging that yellow line. It's looking good. If he can keep the momentum off of 4, off of the wall, great job. Right next to that outside wall, top of the board. Quick time, Bobby Hamilton Jr., 21.82. I'm not sure anybody's got anything for that lap right there, as it looks like nobody else out on their timed laps. Chris Mathis actually now beginning his, so we'll take a look at the Skittles Dips 18 Toyota Camry. That's an interesting paint job. Don't think I've seen that one before. I actually kind of like that one. Colt Ansley attempting to take back that top spot, but not being able to. He's going to slot in second for the time being. Chris Mathis, only driver out there on the track right now for qualifying, as we've got just about 1 minute remaining here, and we've only had 8 drivers. Oh, trouble for the 18. Gonna spin it around here. That's going to throw away his second time lap, so not going to be able to take that top spot here in qualifying, away from Bobby Hamilton Jr. Great lap out of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Looks like he's going to steal that pole position here tonight in the GrassRoots 200 in Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. We're going to step away, head down trackside for the singing of our national anthem. So join me in saluting our troops, our homeland, and place we love, really. I mean, what better place to be than here? Anyways, we're going to head down trackside for just a brief moment. Ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rackets regular, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And if that don't get you ready to go short track racing on a Tuesday night, I don't know what will. Your starting grid for tonight's GrassRoots 200 here in Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. Looks a little something like this, taking that top spot. Pole position, the 25 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Colt Ansley right there, outside row, right next to Bobby Hamilton Jr. Colt Ansley going to start in second. Row number 2, the 18 of Chris Mathis, followed by the 02 of Thomas McMullen. Row number 3, the 71 of Alan Dufries, and the 77 of J.D. Baker. Row number 4, the 40 of Jeff Napier, and the 23 of Mickey Spear. Row number 5, the 13 of Roy Hyde, and the 80 of Brian Littleton. Lining up in the 11th starting spot, the 51. Lining up in 12th, the 33 of Brian Mescal Jr. 13th will be Mark Truxell and his Little Tate's Cupcakes number 5 machine. The 54 of Justin Napier going to start in 14th. And Hayes Booth going to round out the field in his 2 car. Well, it's about on. Pace car lights are out. Ford Mustang will go down pit road this next time by, so we will get set to kick things off next time around. Field getting double file, all the drivers getting to their starting spots, trying to warm up their tires, trying to get ready to fire this thing off. Woo-wee. It's gonna be a night. Short track racing under the lights. My goodness, you're just asking for a great race. See that Ford Mustang ready to duck off, take that left-hand turn, and we will get set to go. Drivers coming to the restart line. Bobby Hamilton Jr. hits the gas, green flag flies, and we're racing at Richmond International Raceway. Bobby Hamilton Jr. clear into turn number 1. No trouble for any of the drivers so far. Everything looks clean back through the field. Single file at the front. Your top 3 already scooting away from the rest of the field. A little further back in the pack right now, working their way back to the line. In lap number 1, Bobby Hamilton Jr. will lead the first lap of the race. Alan Dufries looks like he may have had some trouble, as well as Justin Napier may have had some trouble on the formation laps. Almost scraping the wall there is Bobby Hamilton Jr. Ooh, that was very, very close as Colt Ansley, Chris Mathis right there. Second, third position. Ansley losing a little bit of touch right now with McMullen. But this battle at the front of the field not settled just yet. Mathis down there digging on that inside lane, trying to take the spot away from Bobby Hamilton Jr. Now diving to the inside line into turn number 3. Starting to pull a little bit of gap off of 4 right out next to that outside wall. Driver's going to have to be careful of not letting it float out, as I like to call it. Float out a little too much to that outside wall. Your top 2 beginning to work their way away from the rest of the field. Colt Ansley right there in front of Thomas McMullen. J.D. Baker just behind them. Oh, driver into the wall. Back through the field. Everything seems to be sorted out. Jeff Napier had a little bit of a moment, got into the wall there coming around the tri-oval, the front stretch. I call it a tri-oval because you're kind of never straight on the front stretch. So I don't call it the front stretch either. Anyways, Napier looks to be struggling here early in this race. Maybe the tires just not to his liking as of right now. We see some drivers with a little bit of connection issues up there towards the front. Looks like the 80 of Brian Littleton got things going in the right direction, trying to run down guys at the front of the field. Chris Mathis still hanging on to the rear bumper of that 25 machine, just not quite able to reel him in and take that top spot away. 25 making his way through turn number 3 here, coming back onto the front stretch, the tri-oval, continuing to lead by about 2, now make it 3, almost 4 car lengths. Great run through the entry and center of turn number 1 for Bobby Hamilton Jr. Has that car doing exactly what he wants it to do, going exactly where he wants it to go. As this battle continues to, I don't want to say rage on, but continues to almost fester here. The 18 of Chris Mathis just kind of staying in the mirrors of Bobby Hamilton Jr. right here, maybe trying to just force a mistake, and almost into that outside wall right there. That 25 very, very close to the wall on exit of 2. That last time by, we'll take a little look back through the field as we've got some more drivers battling for position. Brian Littleton right there on the inside. He's going to let J.D. Baker go. Looks like Littleton's having a little bit of connection issues. Brian Maskill Jr. just behind him. Roy Hyde in 8th. 9th will be Alan Dufries. Justin Napier going to round out your top 10 as we work our way back around the track to take lap number 12 out of the 200 scheduled here tonight. Stage number 1 going to end at lap 65, so these drivers may not really have to worry about that fuel mileage. And then we will get another stage break at lap 130. So I'm not quite so sure what the fuel mileage is, but I think it's going to be very close to being able to complete both stages, or all 3 stages of the race, I should say, with the fuel and tires, or at least the fuel. You may want tires at some point, but the fuel may be able to make it. Bobby Hamilton Jr. still continues to lead Chris Mathis up here at the front of the field. A 0.3 of a second gap separate your top 2 runners. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has led every lap of the race, sat on the pole, was the fastest in happy hour as well. So he is just trying to sweep the night here at Richmond International Raceway for the GrassRoots 200. And if anybody's got a strong car right now, it is Bobby Hamilton Jr. and his Ford Mustang. I mean, he is absolutely pounding the pavement right now. Looking at the speed charts, his time now in the race has been faster than his qualifying lap. If you remember, he ran a 21.86 in qualifying here. His fastest lap, a 21.75. Chris Mathis also turning in a 21.75. As these drivers continue to battle amongst themselves, you got to look back through the field. They got to start worrying about what's going on in front of them. Mickey Spear, Jeff Napier may be in a little bit of trouble here shortly if they don't find a little bit of speed out of their machines. One's in a Toyota, one's in a Ford, so not a manufacturer issue. Maybe just not able to get the power down on those fresh, cold tires. Big gap back from first and second back here to Colt Ansley, who's got a slight gap over Thomas McMullen, over almost a 1 second gap between Ansley to McMullen, and there's about a 5 second gap in front of Ansley to get to Chris Mathis and Bobby Hamilton Jr. So that just tells you the speed that those top 2 drivers are running out there, how quick they really are. I mean, that last time by still under the 22.5 second mark. All the rest of the drivers at least a tenth or more over that 22.5 lap time. So a lot of drivers struggling out there very early in the race. Long way to go to the end of stage number 1 here as we're on lap number 20. Out of the 65 here in stage number 1, 200 overall in today's GrassRoots 200 at Richmond International Raceway. Do want to say thank you all for joining us here tonight on Turn 3 Racing Network. I appreciate you coming out, spending your time with good old Darkside Dave in the Turn 3 Racing Network booth. Just having a good time, calling some great racing action as we continue to watch Colt Ansley. He's starting to feel a little bit of pressure from Thomas McMullen. McMullen closing in about a tenth or two the last 2 or 3 laps. So that gap has shrunk from right about a second to now down to just 6/10, so 4/10 being made up over the last 3 laps. Ansley is on the move forward. Nothing really going on up at the front, but we will check back in with your race leader, Bobby Hamilton Jr., as he continues to lead Chris Mathis. Mathis not really going anywhere, not really looking to try any different lines, just seems to be running his line and content for it right now. Maybe not trying to heat up the tires too much, just running right there in the tire tracks of Bobby Hamilton Jr. So, yeah, interesting little different line right there. Bobby Hamilton Jr. well up the track through 3 and 4 that time. That's going to put Mathis right there on his rear bumper going into turn 1. Halfway down the backstretch, another good run through 1 and 2 for Bobby Hamilton Jr. The 18 of Chris Mathis still right there, about a car length and a half off his rear bumper. Great run out of 4 by that 25 machine as he pulled to a 2, almost 3 car length on his way into turn number 1 and 2. And this has been Bobby Hamilton Jr.'s strongest corner, turn 1 and 2. He seems to get out of that corner better than anybody else. There you see it, 4, almost 5 car length gap. Back to your second place runner now. Chris Mathis starting to fade just a little bit. We'll go back, check through the field just a little bit further back. There you see Colt Ansley, Thomas McMullen beginning to battle for that 3rd spot as Brian Littleton slowly coming into the picture as well. J.D. Baker just behind them in 6th. Roy Hyde sitting in 7th. The 8th position, Brian Mescal Jr. Justin Napier in 9th, 10th place. Alan Dufries. And looks like Brian Edmonton, a little bit of connection issue, so we'll go a little bit elsewhere. What do you say? Sounds good to me. Drivers doing a fantastic job as we've got a battle for the 3rd position on our hands. Here comes McMullen to the inside of Ansley. 0-2 with the run. Well and clear into turn number 1. Not going to be an issue. He's going to drive off into the sunset and try to set his sights on closing the gap to the drivers in front of him. That gap now 6.5 seconds to Chris Mathis, and then another almost 1 second in front of Mathis, running in the top spot still. Your leader from the drop of the green flag, your pole sitter, Bobby Hamilton Jr. Starting to drive away from the field, Bobby Hamilton Jr. liking what he sees out front, and that's nothing. Beginning to like what he sees in that rear view mirror, and that's that 18 machine getting smaller and smaller as the front of the field begins to work their way through lap traffic. Jeff Napier all going down 1 lap. Looks like we have had 2 drivers with some mechanical issues, not able to grid up here for the GrassRoots 200. Hayes Booth and his 2 machine going to be relegated to the 14th position where it did not start, as well as the 51 machine. So both of those drivers made it to the track, but unfortunately unable to grid, so they will end up in our final 2 spots as Bobby Hamilton Jr. now beginning to open up that gap, now just about a 1.2 second lead. Back to your second place runner there. You see him just off in the distance. Chris Mathis beginning to fade now as Thomas McMullen beginning to surge just a little bit, closing the distance, closing the gap now. It was 6.5 seconds, now already down to the 6-second mark. So McMullen on the move forward. Ansley starting to fall into the clutches of Brian Littleton, I should say. J.D. Baker as well as Roy Hyde. There you see him. They're going to begin to get into this mix. The 77 of Baker. Good run right now. Trying to crack into that top 5. Side-by-side battle right there between Colt Ansley and Brian Littleton. Littleton on the inside. Still having a little bit of those connection issues. Don't look to be too horrible, so Littleton continues on, gets the spot away from Ansley, put Ansley back to fifth. Now Baker trying to take over that final spot in the top 5. Drivers very close going down the back stretch. Half car between Ansley and Baker. Baker looking to that yellow line, not able to get the run off of 4. Now cutting down towards the inside, not gonna do it, gonna slot back in the line in the 6th spot. Still trying to run down. Colt Ansley back up at the front. Not much to say. Bobby Hamilton Jr., man, oh man, continuing to put down flyers. Not very many drivers still underneath the 23-second mark. That's right, 23-second laps being turned out here by the majority of the field. Bobby Hamilton Jr. last lap by a 22:88, so still 2/10 below the majority of the field's lap time, and it looks like he has got this place figured out, and he is ready to put his car back into victory lane. Still green flag racing here at Richmond International Raceway for the GrassRoots 200. For Superior Class Auto Racing presented by Mug Root Beer. It has been one heck of a season. Race number 10 underway right here. 14 races in total in season number 2 for these drivers, and it's time to shine. Bobby Hamilton Jr. doing exactly that now. Almost a 3-second gap. That the last 3 to 4 laps for Bobby Hamilton Jr. He has absolutely just stepped away. Almost 0.2 of a second faster that last time by than the driver running in that 2nd spot. And we may have a battle beginning to brew for that 3rd spot. Once again, Brian Littleton setting sail. Once he got by Colt Ansley, J.D. Baker also getting by Ansley now into the top 5. But Littleton has made a run, and he is trying to close in on a top 3 here as we inch closer and closer to the end of stage number 1. A little further back through the field, there you see another little gaggle of cars. Roy Hyde is 13, almost into that outside wall. Justin Napier right there on his gearbox, trying to take the spot away. Coming off of turn number 4, not going to be there, not going to get the spot just yet. As Roy Hyde continues to fight for that spot, fight for that position now. Doesn't look like he's got anything to keep. Napier behind him, the 54 is going to take that spot away, move Justin Napier into the 7th spot. As I already mentioned and already said, nothing really to report up at the front except Bobby Hamilton Jr. continuing to open up that gap, now almost 4 seconds in front of the 18, Chris Mathis. So Hamilton Jr. has got this track figured out, and he is liking the way his car is handling. Excellent job out there so far all day long. My goodness, there you see it on the ticker scrolling across the screen, almost 10 seconds back to your top 5. I mean, look at that, 9.6 seconds behind. Your race leader is the 5th place runner. So that is very dangerous territory, as it's still right around the 23-second mark. a lap for Bobby Hamilton Jr. as the rest of the field is upwards of 23.3s. So continuing just to be about that 0.2 of a second faster each and every lap. As it looks like Bobby Hamilton Jr. putting another car one lap down. Mickey Spear now being scored a lap down as well, being scored the first car one lap down, now just in front of your race leader. The 71 of Alan Dufries looking to the inside is Bobby Hamilton Jr. No contest right there. 25 rolls through the center, takes that spot, puts another car one lap down here early in stage number 1. And the GrassRoots 200 live here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Want to give a big shout out to all of you fans, friends, family, viewers stopping by here tonight. And each and every time you stop by here at Turn 3 Racing Network, whether it's myself, Darkside Dave in the Cave, and Turn 3 Racing Network booth here tonight with the Superior Class Auto Racing presented by Mug Root Beer, or any of the rest of the guys, girls back at the headquarters at Turn 3 Racing Network. We do appreciate it each time you join us. If you haven't already, throw these drivers a thumbs up, give them a like, hit subscribe, smash the bell over there on the right-hand side, get notified anytime we go live here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Tons of great racing action, tons of different series, cars, tracks. Pretty much if you want it and it's racing, we got it for you. Come check us out here on YouTube, Twitch, multiple streaming places you can find us. We're everywhere. Turn 3 Racing Network. Bobby Hamilton Jr. putting Alan Dufries down one lap now. Mark Truxell just in front of your race leader. Right around, I would say, 5 seconds or so before your race leader, Bobby Hamilton Jr., will be on that rear bumper of Mark Truxell. So Truxell's going to have to get on the gas just a little bit as we're right around the 13 laps or so left here in stage number 1. Stage number 1 coming to a conclusion at lap 65. So these drivers screaming for tires, I can guarantee you that. Been out there for 54 green flag laps in positions being contested left and right all over the track, slowly beginning to fan out. Down now at that 13, Roy Hyde sitting in the 8th position, making up just one spot since the start of the race, but Colt Ansley, he's been falling through the field, has lost 5 spots since the start of the race, now sitting in the 7th position, starting outside row number 1, and Bobby Hamilton Jr., well, he started inside row on the pole, and he has never looked back, leading all 56 laps here in stage number 1. We have now reached the 10 to go mark here in stage number 1. Drivers going to be getting ready to tell the crew chiefs what they need to get some more speed and some more drive out of these cars, maybe get a little bit more grip on entry, because they are going to have to do something if they're going to want to get in the zip code that Bobby Hamilton Jr. is here tonight at Richmond International Raceway. And just looking like a sweet Sunday morning drive, Bobby Hamilton Jr., no pressure at all. Looks like the track's pretty much clear in front of him. He can kind of hang out. Doesn't really have to get to Mark Truxell and put him a lap down. He's got about a 6-second buffer behind him. He's got about a 5-second buffer in front of him. He's just kind of hanging out there, still rolling the center on the bottom through 3 and 4. I mean, his car has not really left the bottom there. You see the high arc hitting the center of the apex right there at that yellow line and right off near the wall. Great line through 1 and 2, and maybe that's just why he's been able to step away from the field. He has been the strongest in 1 and 2 all race long as we come across the line to take lap number 60. Just 6 laps remaining here in stage number 1. Last time by for Bobby Hamilton Jr. 23:38. Second place runner Chris Mathis going to turn in a 23:56 that last time by. And while we were focusing on that, look at this. Joshua Baker, J.D. Baker right there in that 77. Not only did he get by Brian Littleton, but he came up and grabbed the third spot away from Thomas McMullen. So Baker with a fast car here has closed the distance. Now all three of these drivers closing in on the rear bumper of Chris Mathis. Mathis has right at about a 3-second buffer zone before Baker will be knocking on his door, but I don't think it's going to be enough time. Lap 62 now underway. I don't believe there will be enough time for this 77 to make his way up there and get by Chris Mathis. He might get there, but I don't think he's going to get by. Looks like Brian Littleton still having a little bit of those connection issues, blinking every now and again. Justin Napier doesn't seem to be bothering him. He's right there behind him, running in the 6th position. Thomas McMullen beginning to step away from these two as Napier looks to the inside of Littleton. Pass being completed off the 2. Littleton going to fall back to the 6th spot. Gotta give credit where credit is due. Coming to lap 65 down the backstretch now into turn number 3. Bobby Hamilton Jr. still hugging that yellow line through most of the entry and center of 3 and 4. Going to come across the line to begin lap 65. Stage ending caution right at our doorstep. Bobby Hamilton Jr. going to walk away with a great finish here in stage number 1. Bring it around, bring it home. There you have it in the books. Your stage 1 winner, 25 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Looks like the caution's gonna fly right now. Race leader on the backstretch, so he'll come around, pick up the pace car. We'll wait for all the drivers to come around and catch the pace car, make their pit stops. And then we'll see if we can't get a word real quick or two with Bobby Hamilton Jr. and looking to see if we've got the radio channel, and I don't believe that we do have that radio channel here tonight, so tough luck for us. Unfortunately, not going to be able to speak to the driver of that 25 here, as he was the winner of stage number 1 here tonight in the GrassRoots 200 in Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. So great job. Hats off to Bobby Hamilton Jr. We're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. We will be right back. You won't miss any of the green flag racing action live here from Richmond International Raceway.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
No, having to cut the commercial short, back green flag action here to begin stage number 2 at the GrassRoots 200 for Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. Bobby Hamilton Jr. was your stage 1 winner on and off pit road first, coming back to the line. Now looking to the inside, that 18 of Chris Mathis trying to show some strength early. Maybe if he can get out and get that clean air, maybe he's got a shot to keep Bobby Hamilton Jr. Oh, hitting the apron up the track. Door check. Bobby Hamilton Jr. goes back to the inside. Chris Mathis trouble now, falling deep in the field. 2, almost 3 cars making a pass now on Chris Mathis after that contact with Bobby Hamilton Jr. Didn't look to be too significant, but he's got drivers all over him now as he's stuck in that outside lane. Roy Hyde just behind him. Oh, big time hit there for Justin Napier. Napier hitting that wall off of turn number 2. Big time movement there. That's going to let a few more drivers by. That's going to stack the drivers up behind him. Thomas McMullen, Colt Ansley right there side by side as Mark Truxell makes his way inside the top 10, now running in the 8th position. Back at the front, though, look at this. Bobby Hamilton Jr. has stepped away. Chris Mathis with the issues after hitting the apron, having some contact with the 25. The door check didn't seem to hurt him. He seems to be all right. Battle now between second and third. J.D. Baker, Chris Mathis, these 2 drivers heating things up around the track. Roy Hyde now inside the top 5, running in the 4th position. And I tell you what, you want it, you got it, you asked for it. We're going to mute the mics, head down trackside, bring you some of the sights and sounds here with our Turn It Up. And caution out on the track. Oh my goodness. Let's see if we can see what happened here with the turn 3 replay. Looks like that 86 of Colt Ansley may have been involved in it. So we'll take a look back with the turn 3 replay, see what we see there. You see the 86 right behind Mark Truxell coming off of turn 2, sideways off of 2. No contact. Oh, slight contact with that inside retaining wall. Doesn't look to be too horrible for him as the drivers catch back up to the pace car. Everybody coming down pit road. Bobby Hamilton Jr. Actually, no. Bobby Hamilton Jr. staying out. J.D. Baker staying out as well. Thomas McMullen. All of these drivers staying out. And I wonder if this may be a tire strategy. Now with iRacing, you're able to implement tire counts, tire limits, if you will. So maybe trying to save a set in case there's a little bit of a mishap later here tonight, and we may find ourselves in a green-white checkered situation. So may want to just keep some of them tires on hand. All the drivers were on pit road just about 16 laps ago, so there you have it right there. Just 16 laps on these tires for these drivers. But you still got multiple drivers going down there on the pit road. Colt Ansley out of the car, now coming back onto the track. Out of pit road, Mickey Spear on the pit road, Jeff Napier on the pit road. Both of those drivers now hitting their pit box. Looks like a long pit stop for that 40 of Jeff Napier, 15.87 seconds on pit road. So maybe fixing just a little bit more damage as the field begins to come back around turn number 4. They'll head through the tri-oval here, hit the line. Pace car lights will go out, and we'll get one to go here at Richmond International Raceway in the GrassRoots 200 for Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Group Beer. And hey, wouldn't you know, Dave was wrong. Pace car lights stay on. We'll go one more time around the track. And just like that, we were mentioning coming to the end of stage number 1, Mark Truxell in danger of going one lap down. He was running in about the 11th position, struggling a little bit to find the pace. But after the stage, he's got his car fired up and ready to go all the way up to the 6th position, so he will start third car outside lane. And I mean, just like that, I mean, maybe 20 laps ago now, Truxell almost one lap down. Now he will restart right there in the 6th position. Pace car lights do go out this time by, so hey, what do you know? I called it right that time at least. Bobby Hamilton Jr. continuing to lead the race. Only one lead change here tonight for the Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. Pace car down and away. Bobby Hamilton Jr. hits the gas. Green flag comes out. We're off. Racing once again. Thomas McMullen now looking to the inside of J.D. Baker, heading into turn number 1. Going to take that 2nd position away. Not just yet. Baker fighting back on the outside. Roy Hyde using the inside lane. Brian Skill Jr. just behind him. Can Baker hold off McMullen? Using that outside lane, trying to keep the momentum up. I'm not sure that's going to pay off. Brian Muskill Jr. cutting way down the track now, taking the spot away from Mark Truxell. Truxell going to slot in 7th as Bobby Hamilton Jr. liking what he sees, and that's the entire field behind him, side by side for position. That's going to allow him now out to, big time slide out of 4. there for JD Baker. That's 77. Great job at getting that back underneath him. Now to almost 3 wide coming. Oh, and Mark Truxell goes around. Truxell with the spin. Not looking like there's any contact. We'll take a look back with the turn 3 replay. Oh, looks like maybe just a little bit of contact out of that 18 of Chris Mathis, and Truxell hard into the inside wall. We'll see if we can't get another angle of it here. Another look at that. Right up the track, right into that left quarter. And around goes Truxell into the inside wall. Hard impact. That more than likely is going to need some repair, so we will rejoin the race leader, Bobby Hamilton Jr., back up at the front of the field. Gonna wait and see what the field does here. Looks like we do have a few takers. Roy Hyde onto pit road, JD Baker, Brian Littleton, Mark Truxell all onto pit road. So it looks like those are going to be the drivers that come down pit road. Mickey Spear, Jeff Napier, both of those drivers down 1 lap right now. So we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back.
I'm Johnny with Little Tate's Cupcakes. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's race on the Turn 3 Network. Little Tate's Cupcakes is a bakery based out of Owensboro, Kentucky. We specialize in cookies, cakesicles, cakes, and cupcakes for every occasion. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram for more of our work and for daily specials. Go number 5.
Just like that, we're back trackside once again. Pace car lights have went out. Drivers getting set to go back. Green flag racing. Tell you what, we're going to bring up a little different look for you here from the Turn 3 Racing Network production booth up here high above this track. Darkside Dave in the cave. Do appreciate each and every one of you joining us here tonight. Ford Mustang pace car gonna get ready to make that left-hand turn, and we will get set to fire things back off. Bobby Hamilton Jr. bringing the field back to the green flag. On the gas in the restart box, and away Hamilton Jr. goes. Great start. Out of that 25, gets well and clear of the 0-2 of Thomas McMullen down in the turn 1. Brian Muskill Jr. now going to slide in third. Alan Dufries clear as well. Your top 4 beginning to get single file as Jeff Napier and Roy Hyde battle for that 5th position. Roy Hyde on the inside going to take the spot away. to take a spot away from the 77 of Alan Dufries side by side. And no, stays just single file. Thought Roy Hyde may be looking to go to the inside here. Lets him stay just behind Dufries as the field makes their way back into turns number 1. Still green flag racing here at Richmond International Raceway. We have had maybe 3 or 4 cautions out here. One stage ending caution. Bobby Hamilton Jr., your pole sitter, also has led pretty much the entire night, walking away with the win in stage number 1, trying to replicate that here in stage number 2. But Thomas McMullen, he's been able to hold on to the rear of Bobby Hamilton Jr., stayed right there so far, heating up that mirror. Brian Maskill Jr. also with some improvements on pit road because he is right there in the mix as well. But we've seen it was the later stages of the stage. That sounds kind of awkward, huh? The later stages of the stage. The later laps in stage number 1 seem to be the strong point for Bobby Hamilton Jr. in that 25 group, as he built a gap and just kept on building it lap after lap. Brian Maskill Jr. digging on the inside. He takes a spot away from McMullen. Now McMullen has Roy Hyde in his 13 machine right there behind him. Roy trying to take that 3rd spot away. Can Brian Maskill Jr. do anything with Bobby Hamilton Jr.? We'll have to see it. It's the battle of the juniors at the front of the field here in the GrassRoots 200 from Richmond International Raceway for Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. Roy Hyde now diving to the inside. Not gonna make the pass just yet. Looking to set him up for an easier pass into turn number 1. Yes, he does. Now takes the inside. Diving down into turn number 1. Gonna roll through the center. Yeah, that 3rd spot to that 13 machine of Roy Hyde. Just behind them now another side-by-side battle between Chris Mathis as well as Alan Dufries. Dufries stuck on that outside lane now, Andrew to the inside. And Dufries with some trouble, stuck on that outside lane, getting freight trained. Gonna finally slot in line just behind Justin Mabe here, right in front of that 5 mark. Truxell looks to the inside momentarily, now into turn 1, looks to go down to that yellow line, trying to take that spot away. Truxell on the bottom, completing the pass out of turn 2. Look for Truxell to make his way back up to that top 5. Biggest mover of tonight's race, driver right there trying to hunt down your race leader. Brian Maskill Jr. up 10 spots from his starting position here tonight. So heck of a job out there by Brian Maskill Jr. And let's go ahead and throw it to a little bit of a battle that we have underway here for the 2nd spot. We've got a 3-car battle. All teammates at that, battling right now for that 2nd spot. Let's give you a little bit of the timing and scoring on these teammates out there battling with each other. There you see Brian Littleton has that. Well, Brian Littleton being shown one lap down, actually. Not quite sure what happened to Littleton, but he's being scored 1 lap down at this point in time. Maybe some of those connection issues going a little bit awry for him. But there you see the battle between Brian Maskill Jr., Roy Hyde, Chris Mathis, all within just 2/10 of each other. And well, I thought maybe one of these drivers had a little bit of something in the tank for the man at the front of the field. The 25 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. handling his business out there now with a 1.1 second race lead over Brian Maskill Jr. Brian Littleton looking to get his lap back the good old-fashioned way, going to the inside of your race leader now into 3 and 4. Rolling through the center. Great run off of 4. Looks like he's going to be side by side with your race leader as they cross the line. Bobby Hamilton Jr. having to run the high line now. Chris Mathis, look at this, driving to the front of the field underneath Brian Maskill Jr. Put Mathis back inside your top 2 Keep in mind, Mathis was up there heating up that rear bumper of Bobby Hamilton Jr. for most of stage number 1 and part of stage number 2 here, before he had a little bit of contact, a little bit of trouble. And here he is once again closing right in. Drivers working lap 112 out of 200 scheduled here tonight in the official race distance in the GrassRoots 200, live here on Turn 3 Racing Network. You're watching stage number 2 for Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Muck Root Beer. Roy Hyde almost into the outside wall. Stage number 2 is going to come to a completion at lap 130. So all these drivers should make it on fuel. And look at this battle for the race lead for the first time here tonight on track. Oh, Mathis clear. Bobby Hamilton Jr. looking for a crossover. Not going to be able to do it. They head back down the backstretch into turn number 3. First time we have seen a driver pass Bobby Hamilton Jr. and stay there. First car besides that 25 now leading a lap. Chris Mathis has officially led 1 lap here today, so another driver finally showing some strength here. Whoa, look at those drivers' hands coming off of turn number 2. That they are having to wheel those machines, that is for sure. Not only making the pass, but now stepping away a little bit from Bobby Hamilton Jr. is that 18 of Chris Mathis, putting the skittle. Ooh, sorry about that. A little bit of pop right there. Putting the skittle pops right there into the top spot, man. I tell you what, no pun intended on what I said a second ago, but absolutely amazing, phenomenal job out there by Mathis. Mathis was behind on that restart right around the 7th or 8th position, and since the drop of the green flag for this latest restart, he has driven his way all the way up to the top spot and has begun to gap the very fast 25 of Bobby Hamilton Jr., who has led pretty much the entire race until Mathis passed him a handful of laps ago. We continue to work our way around the track under green flag racing conditions. Your leader, Chris Mathis, down into turn number 3. Going to come around across the stripe, begin lap 118. We are knocking on the doorstep of the end of stage number 2. Only about 15 or 16 laps to go. Actually, it's right about the 13 lap. Yeah, you know, I can't count. You guys know this. And it looks like even more trouble for that 80 of Brian Littleton. He passed the race leader, but has since somehow stayed a lap down, so maybe falling 2 laps down due to some connection issues. Tough break for that 80 machine because he looked to be very, very fast. Going to take a look through the field just a little bit. I said it once and look at him again right there. That 5 machine running inside your top 5, running in that 5th spot right now is Truxell, trying to make his way up and around the 86 of Colt Ansley. So Truxell back on the move once again. Staying a little bit lower than Ansley off of turn number 2. That gives him a big run down the backstretch right there on that gearbox of Ansley off the 4. Look for the crossover going into turn number 1. Does Truxell dip down there? Looks, but not quite there just yet. He's going to have to deal with J.D. Baker just behind him. Baker starting to heat up Truxell now looking to the inside in turn 3. Not going to be there. Ansley gonna close the door. The 86 strong off of turn 4, but stronger is Truxell. Now looking to the inside, going into turn number 1. Is he going to have enough to clear? Colt Ansley going to have to yield the spot. Put Truxell into the 4th spot now, trying to click off some more speed in the car. Try to go up there and battle Brian Mescal Jr. for the 3rd spot as we get right here at the end of stage number 2. Only 8 laps to go. a gander back at the front of the field. There you see your race leader, Chris Mathis, leading the field around the track. Nobody behind him. He has got almost a 2.5 second race lead over Bobby Hamilton Jr. And, you know, I'm wondering, so let's throw it up for you, the pit strategies here. There you see, that's got to have something to do with it. If you look at the lap count on the tires right there, Bobby Hamilton Jr. on much, much older tires than the drivers around him. Only 31 laps on the tires for Chris Mathis, so the fresh tires definitely showing their advantage late here at the end of stage number 2. And caution coming out, and oh my, your biggest mover of the race now in trouble. Brian Mescal Jr. gets the car fired up and heading back in the right direction. We'll take a look, see what happened here on the turn 3 replay. Just hot and heavy into turn number 1, trying to save it, and the car snaps back. We'll take one more look at that. We'll take a ride, actually, if we can. And there you see the crossed up. One more look at it from inside, and there you see just hands getting crossed up. Nothing that 33 could do at that point in time except enjoy the ride. Tough break for Brian Mescal Jr. That 33 Dirty Mo Chevy Z01 Camaro was hooked up, running very well. Nonetheless, we'll rejoin the field back at the front under caution. Looks like Mathis gonna hit his pit stall. Looks like everybody on the pit road except for Brian Littleton. Brian Littleton getting I believe maybe the lucky dog may have lucked his way back on to the lead lap. And I mean, even if he is the lucky dog, or if he got a wave around, if he even got a wave around, he can stay out here to the end of stage number 2, get back on the lead lap, and then possibly, you know, pit with everybody at the end of stage number 2 then, and have a fighting chance with only about 65 laps or so to the end after the end of stage number 2. Right now, Chris Mathis will lead the field back to the green flag. Mark Truxell, where did he come from? Into stage number 1, almost one lap down. You take it one stage later, and there he is lining up. First row outside line, so he's got a chance to go out here and get the stage win at the end of stage number 2 after almost being one lap down at the end of stage number 1. That is quite the recovery. Now Truxell taking that biggest mover label away from Brian Mescal Jr. Truxell up 8 positions since the drop of the green flag from his starting position, so great job out of that 5 machine. Pace car lights out, ready to go back. Green flag racing. Gonna be a short heat race to the end of stage number 2. Pace car making that left-hand turn. Chris Mathis bringing the field to the restart box, hits the gas, and away he goes. Great start on the inside by Ansley. He's going to steal the second position away from Mark Truxell. Truxell stuck on that outside row right now, trying to hang on. Whoa, big moment there for the 0-2. He gets things right. It gets the ship going in the right direction. Mark Truxell now battling for the third position with Bobby Hamilton Jr. Bobby Hamilton Jr. down there on the inside lane has Roy Hyde just behind him. Truxell following back, getting stuck on that outside lane now. Bobby Hamilton Jr. making the move on Colt Ansley. So put that 25 back inside your top two. And ladies and gentlemen, I mean, he has not left the top five all race long. The furthest he started was right there on that restart, started in that fifth position. So great night out of that 25 of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Chris Mathis looking at, oh, big time moment there for Roy Hyde. He's going to have to collect it, big time slide out of turn number 2. Gets it headed back in the right direction. Mark Truxell going to take that spot away. Slot all the way up into the fourth position. Lap 134 now. And Chris Mathis continuing to step away from Bobby Hamilton Jr. right now. Lap 135 out of the 200 scheduled here tonight at Richmond International Raceway. It looks like the hunter has now become the hunted, because Chris Mathis is now your race leader. Bobby Hamilton Jr. now back in the second spot. He's the one 1.2 seconds behind your race leader, and he's the one that's going to have to be on the chase and try to catch that 18. 18 since getting clean air and having control of the restart. Has just stepped away from the field, and it looks like the clean air is all he needed, because once he has got out front, he is beginning to gap in pace faster than Bobby Hamilton Jr. the last few laps. Last lap right at about a tenth faster than that 25. So the 18 looking to continue the way the race is right here, and maybe lead close to half of the laps. Bobby Hamilton Jr. does have the most laps led award. Nobody going to be able to touch him, as he led quite a long time. I'm just going to leave it at that. Probably about 115 or so laps. Definitely over 100 laps without a shadow of a doubt. But your top two beginning to step away from the field. Mathis now with a 1.2 second race lead over Bobby Hamilton Jr. Driver coming off of pit road. That will be the 40 of Jeff Napier. Jeff being scored a few laps down here tonight. Tough break to see him out there having some struggles at Richmond International Raceway. And my goodness, we just talked about him being at the front of the field now. Running back in the 11th spot, Mark Truxell has fallen through the field. No contact, no mishaps, anything like that, but tough break there for Truxell. And Thomas McMullen off track through the tri-oval a lap or two ago. He's going to fall through the field all the way back to the 12th spot. Your two race leaders continue to put down some blazing fast laps right at the 22-second mark. And it looks like Mathis may have figured something out. Going to go back a little further to look at this little battle underway. It's a trio now. Make it a quad fight. These four drivers going to duke it out here for the next few laps. Roy Hyde, J.D. Baker, Justin Napier, Brian Littleton now back onto the lead lap after being 2 laps down in stage number 2. Oh, car around and into the inside wall. Jeff Napier with some issues and some trouble. Front end of that Toyota Camry, the red dot Toyota Camry, pretty heavily damaged, knocked in a bit. We'll see if we can't catch this with the turn 3 replay. And it looks like a common thing, just getting loose off of 2. Hard impact into that inside wall. that red dot storage Toyota Camry took a lot harder lick than what I thought it was. Oh my goodness, that was a tough one to watch. It looks like the front of your field all coming down pit road. There you see him. Jeff Napier going to stay out as he is 1 lap down, or a few laps down at this point in time. 8 laps down, now make it 10 total. I'll get the count right eventually. Can't pit until next time by, so look for him to come down pit road, try to get some of that damage fixed up. Oh, issues in the pit box for Alan DeFries, had to back up. We'll see and watch this 18. Looks like the right side's dropped. He's down and away. He's going to win the race off of pit road. Bobby Hamilton Jr. going to come out second. Colt Ansley third. Roy Hyde going to come out in the 4th position. And I'm not so sure the outside lane's where you want to restart, but nonetheless, that's where that 13's going to restart. Taking a look back through the field, looks like most of the drivers with a 4-tire pit stop right there. All right around the 14.5 second range, so all the pit crews getting the job done all right there on top of each other. Drivers getting the job done as well, being on and off of pit road, all right there at the 48 second mark on and off pit road. So yeah, I mean, here we go. I'm going to set a scenario for you here. We're going to cross the line this time by lap 146 out of the 200 scheduled here tonight in the official race distance for the GrassRoots 200. Okay? That puts us, we're just going to call it 50 because I don't want to do the actual math, but whatever. 55 for the guys that want to test me. Anyways, 55 laps remaining here at Richmond International Raceway. How do you approach this race? Do you approach it thinking that we're going to get a late race caution? So you go out there and just hammer down, maybe abuse the tires a little bit more than you previously have? Or do you run this like it's going to stay green to the end? Because we've had some very long green flag runs. So I'm not quite sure which way I would go with this one. But as long as I'm going to the front, I guess that's the right decision. I just don't know which decision gets me there. I don't know. Just me. I have moments, you know. I do want to take a moment to give a shout out to all the race fans out there watching us live here on Turn 3 Racing Network. Appreciate you all stopping by each and every time that you do. Big shout out to all the league and race sponsors. Big shout out to title sponsor Mug Root Beer, as well as Red Dot Storage, First Horizon, Cameron Hagman Photography. Lord, I don't know, but I know I'm forgetting somebody along the way, but nonetheless, back to green flag action here at Richmond International Raceway. The 18 of Mathis fires off quick. Bobby Hamilton Jr. right there beside him. Not gonna be able to pull the pass off. 2-3 car length lead for Mathis off of turn number 2. Big slide for Ansley moments ago. Big time slide. And caution coming out, and right now looks like having some issues with the mouse right here. So not able to hit the buttons, click the buttons for you. Unfortunately, right here, trying to see if we can't get this thing figured out. And it looks like the batteries may be dead on the old mouse here, so let's see if we can't get a hold of somebody and get some batteries here. And hey, just like that, we're back. We can do things. We can press buttons. Once again, I love pressing buttons. All right, well, track was right around the 70-degree mark when we started the race. Let's take a look at the weather now, see how it is. Looks like air temperature has dropped a few degrees as well as the track temperature. So under the lights, track cooling off. Gonna get a little bit more grip out there. And only right about 47 laps now remaining here in the GrassRoots 200 final stage. Under 47 laps remaining, 46 when we cross the line. Your race leader Chris Mathis chooses the inside, waiting to fire off. Restart box, green flag out. Mathis with a great start. Cole Ansley looking to the inside of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Not going to be there. 25 going to keep that second spot. Cole Ansley going to slot in third. Now looking to the inside of Bobby Hamilton Jr. Big trouble off of turn number 2. That's going to allow Colt Ansley to make his way by. Now J.D. Baker looking to his inside, just behind Bobby Hamilton Jr. and J.D. Baker, Thomas McMullen, Mark Truxell knocking on the door at the top 5 once again. After the spin, in trouble, the 33 of Brian Mescal Jr. now stuck outside of that top 10. Brian Littleton, after being 2 laps down, now running in the 8th spot. Chris Mathis beginning to step away from Colt Ansley now as Bobby Hamilton Jr. a little bit held up. Looks like had to move high through the center of 1 and 2 there, gave up some ground, and that's going to put J.D. Baker right on his gearbox as well. Coming across the stripe, lap 159. We have got 41 laps remaining here before we can call it out who the race winner is. I mean, obviously, we're going to tell you who wins. We're not going to be like, oh, gotta go. Not going to happen, but who's it going to be? Chris Mathis out there now dominating this race in the later part of tonight. Bobby Hamilton Jr. now getting his car underway, now making the pass, getting by, opening up a gap over that third place runner, Colt Ansley, but as he put himself behind too much, 1.4 seconds behind the 18 of Chris Mathis, and then you've got a three-car battle just behind Bobby Hamilton Jr. You've got Colt Ansley, J.D. Baker, Thomas McMullen, Mark Truxell right there in the mix as well. So call it a four-car, almost five-car battle as Brian Littleton in the 80 machine slowly closing in on these guys at the front, now running in the 7th position. Sparks fly as Ansley into the wall just a little bit. Oh, the 77 making some big evasive moves, and he's going to lose 2 spots going through 1 and 2 because of that little bit of an incident going way up the track. Well, off the track and then back on the track, upsetting the car. He's going to lose yet another spot, now making a third, almost fourth, 2, almost 3 wide. 3 different lines in the turn number 1. That time for the 80 of Littleton, the 77 of Baker, and Jeff Napier also right there with a different line. So 3 different lines, not 3 wide. They were staggered, but 3 different lines heading into turn number 1. That is absolute. Oh, contact between Baker and Napier. Both of those drivers keep it heading in the right direction, but big time trouble for those 2 drivers. Oh, and around goes the 77 right in front of Brian Mescal Jr. Contact was made. Not sure it was a ton, but we'll back it up. Take a look from the blimp cam here as it all took place. Here you see the 77 getting loose, maybe cut a tire. Oh, tough break there for Brian Mescal Jr. Slight contact with that right front. That's going to put him back down pit road trying to fix some more of the damage on the car out there. So, my goodness, we'll have to rejoin the field at the front. Chris Mathis not wanting to see these caution laps. That means he's got to nail it and be on it once again. Everybody coming down pit road here. We've got 36 laps remaining here in the GrassRoots 200, presented to you by Turn 3 Racing Network. We're broadcast to you by Turn 3 Racing Network. Well, we're the only racing network that matters, at least. Well, no, I should not say that. That's just being crazy. You can't say that about your own stuff, can you? Nah, whatever. It is what it is. Right sides go up on the 18 of Mathis. Oh, my, look at this. Thomas McMullen away first. He's going to lead the race off of pit road, take over that top spot. Chris Mathis going to come out in second. Bobby Hamilton Jr. coming out in third. Colt Ansley will come off fourth. Mark Truxell will round out your top 5 when we head back to green flag racing action. So we're going to step away for just a brief commercial break. Get back trackside for all your green flag racing action here from Richmond International Raceway for superior class auto racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. It's the GrassRoots 200. And from one car to another, green flag once again here at Richmond International Raceway. Thomas McMullen beat the field off of pit road as clean air all he needs. Oh, sideways through the center of 1 and 2. That's going to check the field up off of turn number 2. Mathis, Hamilton Jr., Ansley, and DeFries all by. Brian Mescal Jr. almost making his way by as well. So McMullen falling through the field after touching the apron contact with the outside wall. I believe that was Mickey Spear. Running a little further back in the pack, a little bit of contact with that outside wall. Rest of the field well and away. Mark Truckle still inside your top 10, doing a great job. Great recovery so far. Brian Mescal Jr. also recovering. Oh, Roy Hyde into the wall now, the right side of that 13 machine, scraping the wall just a little bit. My goodness, drivers everywhere, all over the track, up at the front, racing everywhere as we've got under 30 laps remaining. We'll jump back up front. Watch this battle develop here between your top 2, top 3. Make it now your top 4. Caution coming out on the track. Looks like the 54 of Justin Napier going off track. Caution coming out for that. Napier seems to be all right. We'll take one look, see what happened here. There you see. Looks like sideways through the tri-oval and into the grass. Officials deeming to call the caution there. So Napier gonna gather it back up. More than likely gonna come down pit road. Car looks to be clean, no harm, no foul. Maybe go down there, get some fresh Goodyear rubbers for this restart after that big long slide and into the grass. We'll just have to wait to see what these leaders do. And I'll tell you what, if I'm leading the race right now, judging off of the way the tires have been, we just came down and got tires. I'm going to be staying out on these tires and try to make this last 25, 26 lap run to the end with the tires I've got. I think, and see, this is where I get some trouble and some conflicts here, because I think if we got one more caution, I think I'd come down pit road then, because the chances of a green-white checkered go up. Cautions breed cautions. You group the field back together. It's the end of the race. Nobody wants to give. It's all take at this point in time, and it doesn't matter if you're the nice guy driver or you're the go-get-it at all times driver. When it gets to this point in the race, the last 20 laps or so, I mean, you can't be that give driver anymore. You want to take everything you've given all race long, and sometimes, you know, like I said, cautions breed cautions. Looks like Race Trends do have us having a caution somewhere right around the lap 12 mark. I believe, looking at the notes now, last time we were at Richmond International Raceway in season number 1, the final caution of the race came at lap number 7 and put us with a green-white checkered. So, yeah, we may be expecting, some of these drivers may be expecting at least one more caution and come down and get a splash and maybe just right sides. So, yeah, well, I mean, that's why I'm not smart enough to be on the pit box, because I can't make a simple call on whether to pit or not. Not much house cleaning to do for us here tonight on Turn 3 Racing Network for the GrassRoots 200 here in Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. 15 drivers came to the track. Fortunately, only 13 drivers able to grid up for tonight's race. Hayes Booth in the 51 machine also not able to grid up, not able to hit the track for tonight's race. We've still got 13 cars out there on track. 12 cars still on the lead lap, and we've got about 12 drivers that think they can still win this thing. Lights on the Ford Mustang pace car out once again, bringing the field back around and down the back stretch. It's going to make that left-hand turn when we hit the middle of 3 and 4, and we will get set to fire this thing back off one more time. See what happens, see how it all shakes out. Your race leader, Chris Mathis, has the inside. Bobby Hamilton Jr. just behind him. Mathis on the gas, early spin of the tires. Big spin of the tires for Chris Mathis, and Colt Ansley gonna move around the field 3 wide into turn number 1. Brian Mescal Jr., Bobby Hamilton, Alan Dufries all right there, 3 wide. Mathis falling all the way back to 5th after spinning the tires here on this latest restart. Side-by-side battle now. Well, not a battle anymore. Bobby Hamilton Jr. taking the 3rd spot away from Alan Dufries. Now trying to take that 2nd spot away from Brian Mescal Jr. Looking to the inside, strong off of 2 once again. Bobby Hamilton Jr. now to the inside of the 33. Half a car separates them side by side. Drag race to the line. Advantage to the 25. Bobby Hamilton Jr. as well as Chris Mathis, who's recovered now. Dive down to the inside lane. Make the pass on the 33. 3 wide further in the field. Brian Littleton down on the inside. Let's see if they make it through 3 and 4. They all make it through 3 and 4. Mark Truxell right there in that 5 machine. Back inside the top 5. There you see some hard racing back through the field here. Alan Dufries, Thomas McMullen, Brian Littleton, Roy Hyde, Justin Napier, Mickey Spear. All of these drivers all over each other. Under 20 laps remaining. He crossed the line this time by 18 laps to go. And Colt Ansley still enjoying the present, the gift. It's the lead fell right in his hands. The 18 of Chris Mathis had trouble on the restart. Big spin of the tires. That checked up the whole outside lane. That allowed Ansley to make his way by the field into turn number 1. Oh, Brian Mescal Jr. through the grass hard into the inside wall. We're going to stay green flag as that was off the racing surface. My goodness, tough break for that 33 Dirty Mo racing machine. Tough break to see that Z01 Camaro torn up down there in the grass. But now, Toyota, Ford, Toyota at the front of the field. Brian Littleton, the first Chevy in line, back in the 4th spot. He's about 1.3, 1.4 seconds off of your race leader, Colt Ansley, who has not looked back since the lead dropped in his lap. Bobby Hamilton Jr. right there heating up that bumper of Ansley. We're going to go show you a little bit of your battle box. Oh, contact! Hamilton Jr. off of the gas. Oh, my. Contacting around. Ansley goes, and now the battle between 1st and 2nd continues on. Ansley, great recovery. He's going to slot back in 4th position. J.D. Baker now making a pass looking to the inside of Mark Truxell. That is the battle at the front of the field. Bobby Hamilton Jr. now with the race lead as Colt Ansley falls all the way to the 4th position. Does Chris Mathis have what it takes to get back up there and battle for that top spot? First and 3rd, identical laps that last time by both running a 22.29. Actually, that time by Brian Littleton slightly faster with a 21.93. So just slightly quicker. That last time by was that 80 of Brian Littleton. So he is closing the distance on the drivers in front of him. Mathis running in 2nd. Hamilton Jr. still in 1st. 11 laps remaining as the drivers turn into turn number 3. Once again, Bobby Hamilton Jr. enjoys a 4, now make it 5-car length race lead over Chris Mathis. Brian Littleton hot on his trail. Little bit of a gap back to your 4th and 5th, 6th place runners, Colt Ansley, Joshua Baker, as well as Justin Napier. All 3 of those drivers caught up with each other, and caution on the track, and it looks like maybe Alan Dufries was caught up in this latest one. Yes, the 71 with some trouble, so we'll take a look back with our turn 3 replay. There you see the 71 just coming off of turn number 4. Everything looks okay. Heading, and hard contact back out on the track after just tank slapping that wall like that. I don't even know if you call that a tank slap or not, but that is a hard side impact. Rejoining the race leaders at the front of the field on pit road. No, Bobby Hamilton Jr. stays out, and I think that could have been a mistake. Rest of the field down onto pit road, so Bobby Hamilton Jr. going to be the only driver on old tires when we come back to green flag racing. He is going to have to hold off the Sharks. They are going to be gunning for him. He's going to be a little guppy out there, I believe. I mean, fresh tires are everything, and let's take a look at the lap count on these tires. 27 lap old tires for Bobby Hamilton Jr. The rest of the field right there all says 27, but that's all going to change here as they come back off of pit road. So 27 lap difference, and now Bobby Hamilton Jr. looks like he's going to come down pit road, and that's still going to put him in a little bit of an awkward spot, a little bit of a bad spot. He's going to have to come down pit road, and he's going to give up a ton of track position now, being the only car on pit road now. Rest of the field going down the first time the pit road's opened, and now giving up the race lead. And gonna have to start deep in the field with only about 3 laps to go when we go back green flag racing. And just like that, Chris Mathis re-inherits the race lead. Bobby Hamilton Jr. electing to stay out, then everybody came behind him. His crew chief then was pretty much just forced into bringing him back down pit road. And unfortunately for Bobby Hamilton Jr., that's going to put him restarting somewhere around the 11th or 12th position. So a tough break for that 25 with the call there. Sometimes it goes your way and sometimes it doesn't. I'm sure his crew chief thought more drivers were going to stay out, but unfortunately they just did not. Believe bad has went to worse for that 25 crew. Still on pit road. Looks like they've got some mechanical issues going on. Oh my, that is like the last straw, the nail in the coffin. That has put an absolute end to his race night. Oh my, after leading the most laps, the fastest lap out there as well, and walking away with the pole, not able to reproduce in the race. Tough break for that 25 crew. Chris Mathis on the outside for this restart. Oh, Ansley goes around. Caution comes right back out. The 86 of Colt Ansley just absolutely spun it on that restart. I'm not sure how nobody hit him, but we'll take a look again here. cars come off of turn 4 on the gas hard, and around he goes. Oh my goodness. I don't know how nobody hit him. Let's take one more look at that. Oh, just unloaded there coming out of 4. Wow, that could have been extremely bad. Nonetheless, great job out there by the whole field, making their way by Colt Ansley. Ansley holding on to the car after the spin, but not hitting anything, so that's going to be a good thing for the driver of that 86 machine as we rejoin the front of the field. Back live at the front of the field, Chris Mathis behind the pace car now. Well, here we go. We've got ourselves a green-white checkered. So I don't know. Interesting strategy that last time too, as well. I want to point out that 18 of Chris Mathis, he chose to go with the outside lane on that latest restart. Nobody's done that all race long. Very interesting little strategy. Maybe he knew, or maybe he thought that Ansley may have some trouble on that restart and didn't want him to spin the tires on the outside of him because he may come down and clip him. But I'm not quite sure how you can prophesize that and just know that's going to happen. You know what I mean? Tough break there for Ansley as he was having a great run. Now on pit road, having to, I guess, knock some of the fenders back right in place. And aero's not so important. Look at that rear bumper of the 18 machine. Looks like it's seen some better days. But not to be surprised. I mean, it is short track racing. There is a little beating. There is a little bit of banging. Rubbing is racing. And sometimes it's just the nature of it. Sometimes it's accidental, and sometimes it's completely on purpose. As the field comes around turns 1 and 2 and heads down the backstretch, once again, gonna head through what should be your restart here. First attempt at a green-white checkered. Your race leader, Chris Mathis, will have control over the field. Justin Napier going to line up beside him. First car inside row in the second lane. Back there in the third position will be Brian Littleton. Roy Hyde going to line up to his outside in the fourth spot. J.D. Baker going to line up in fifth. Sixth will be Thomas McMullen. Your top six looking pretty stout, and seeing some newcomers to the front of the field late here in the Grassroots 200. Justin Napier, Brian Littleton, Roy Hyde, all waiting to make it on the scene late. And we'll see if any of those drivers have what it takes to dethrone the fast man at the front of the field right now, that 18 of Chris Mathis. Field coming to the green this time. Restart box. Gas. And away goes Mathis. Side by side now. Battle between Brian Littleton and Justin Napier. Down into turn number 1. Littleton has the advantage on the inside. Going to slide up right in front of the 54. Caution comes out on track once again here at Richmond International Raceway. Not seeing any issues, not seeing any problems over here on the timing and scoring, so not quite really sure what happened there, but nonetheless, we find ourselves back under caution once again. We'll wait and make sure we do have at least one more attempt at a green-white checker. Not quite sure, but we'll wait to see what happens. It looks like the field waiting for the pace car And I tell you what, we're going to have to get somebody better than Jimmy Pacer here. Not so sure what that was. It looked like the field was waiting for the pace car, but then took off to catch the pace car. Yeah, it's a pretty little interesting deal there. Field back behind the pace car here at Richmond International Raceway. We will have ourselves a second attempt at a green-white checkered. So we're going to step away from the track for just a brief moment. We will come back with all your racing action to the end of tonight's GrassRoots 200. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Back track side pace car lights have went out field. We'll get ready to come back. Green flag racing this time by your race leader, Chris Mathis, in the 18, electing the inside line this time. Lining up to his outside will be the 80 of Brian Littleton. Justin Napier going to line up just behind him in third. Roy Hyde will line up fourth once again. Pace car ducks off. Mathis waiting, hits the gas, and away we go. Side by side for second. Great restart for Justin Napier. Mathis clear of the field down into turn number one. We stay green through 1 and 2. Truxell up into the wall, and caution comes out. Mickey Spear looks like he may have had some trouble as well. Thought I seen Mark Truxell involved in this latest one. Also, tough break for Joshua Baker. JD Baker having to go down pit road. Oh, no, sorry. That was actually Mickey Spear having to head down pit road. So he's going to give up a little bit of track position, fall behind the field. Rejoined back in the 11th spot. Mark Truxell looked like he got into the wall just a little bit. We'll try to see if we can't see the right side of that 5 machine as he makes his way back around the track again. Little bit of damage on that right rear, and no, I'm not even sure what you call that. Bumper panel, maybe? Bumper, I guess? Yeah, it would be the bumper, wouldn't it? Whatever it is, it's no longer on the back end of that 5 machine. Tough break for Truxell after a great run to the front. Finds himself still inside the top 10, running in the 8th position. Chris Mathis will bring the field back to the green flag, and it seems like since just before the end of stage number 2 that Chris Mathis has been the driver that has restarted pretty much every one of these restarts. Have to wait and see which line he chooses this time. Looks like he's going to choose the inside lane, put Brian Littleton just to his outside. We've seen that outside lane struggle on the restarts. So, yeah, I don't know. Keep in mind, Mathis did choose the outside lane one and only time here tonight. The only driver to choose the outside lane. I mean, we've only had about 3 race leaders here tonight at the GrassRoots 200 Superior Class Auto Racing presented by Mug Root Beer. And we've got ourselves a barn burner to the end here. We'll have to wait and see how it all shakes out. Green, white, checkered underway. Pace car gonna duck off. Mathis on the gas. Better restart there by Brian Littleton as Napier spins his tires. Justin Napier now falls victim to Roy Hyde on the outside lane. Joshua Baker right there on his rear bumper. Looks like Mathis well and clear of the field. Oh, a driver going around in the back. Caution comes out once again here at Richmond International Raceway. Looks like that may have been Mickey Spear going around. And I think that is it. I think that's going to be an end to the night. We have had all 3 attempts at green and white checkers here tonight. So field going to end under caution. Your race winner, Chris Mathis. My goodness, getting the job done on the restarts, and Mathis gonna walk away with the race win. Brian Littleton, great recovery. Gonna finish in the 2nd spot after being down 2 laps at one point in time. My goodness, crazy little end to tonight's race. Great job by Brian Littleton, getting a little bit of love from one of his teammates. Brian Mescal Jr. going up, tapping that rear end of that 80 machine. But you are watching the man of the hour, the 18 of Chris Mathis, walking away with the race win. We'll get a little bit of a celebration in before we step away to get things set up for the post-race interviews. There you see him burning it down on the front stretch. Your race winner, Chris Mathis, getting that Skittles Pops machine into victory lane. A heck of a job by him and all of his crew. We'll be back with all your post-race interviews. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. back trackside for your post-race interviews. My goodness, what a race, what a night it was here in the GrassRoots 200 at Richmond International Raceway. And let's see if we can't get in a quick word with the drivers slotting in third place here tonight at the end of the race. The 54 of Justin Napier. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
How's it going, man?
Man, not so bad. Not as good as you out there, podium position, man. Great job.
Yeah, this is the first race I've been in a couple of weeks. I've been really busy on Tuesday nights, and tonight I had some free time, so I hopped in, and I can't believe it. After 200 laps, bringing home third. That was an awesome race there at the end. I couldn't get those restarts going for me, man. It's so slick out there. There's just that car, I guess, has more power than it needs, but I just couldn't keep traction, man.
Well, man, I know you mentioned it a little bit. First time you've been out there on track in a while. How's it feel going from the booth and talking to these drivers when they make the podium to being the driver being talked to on the podium?
It's kind of funny, to be honest with you, a little ironic. I spent, we had a 50-minute practice. I probably spent a good 45 minutes just driving and getting resituated, and in practice, I was pretty quick right off the bat. So I was like, I might have some here tonight. And that first run, I was pretty strong on that long run. I worked from 12th or 13th up to 5th. And I was like, we might have something good here tonight. And all I really could sit there and think all night long was just stay smooth, stay smooth, stay smooth. I got loose a couple times. I went through the grass a couple times. And, it seemed like everybody else has. And so the racing there at the end, it seemed like every lap was last lap.
Yeah, I mean, there was some great racing action all over all night long. A little bit of a struggle on that last restart, spun the tires a little bit, but nonetheless able to salvage a great finish out there, Justin. So before we let you go and enjoy the rest of your evening, would you like to give any more shout-outs, thank yous, love yous?
Yeah, I want to definitely start off with saying great win, Chris. Congrats. Thanks to the league for hosting every Tuesday or every other Tuesday. Thank you for broadcasting. Thanks to the fans that are watching. Thanks to my dad for racing. It's kind of funny seeing him out there sometimes. I'm like, hey, I know you. But yeah, overall, great finish. Great finish. Great track. Pretty good night for me.
All right, my man. Well, we will let you go, and we will catch up with you in 2 weeks when we hit Talladega.
Sounds fun to me.
There you have it. Some final words from the night out of your third place finisher here tonight, the 54 of Justin Napier. Now let's see if we can't get a quick word or two in with a driver that had a pretty flashy car, a pretty eventful night, finishing in second here tonight, the 80 of Brian Littleton. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, man. How's it going?
It's a going.
That's good, good. How was the race up there?
It was absolutely great action all race long, and got to see you have to persevere, I guess is the word I'm looking for, down 2 laps at one point in time in the race. Racing yourself back to being 1 lap down and then getting the free pass under the next caution. Man, how much did that do for your confidence and your spirit for the remainder of the race?
Well, obviously I made a mistake coming off of 4 and put myself in that position, so I had to fight for it. I was hoping if I could get one of those laps back by myself, I would wind up with the caution or something and be the lucky dog. So I was really watching that. Once we wound up back on the lead lap, it was just a matter of working my way to the front, methodically, not trying to be in a rush or nothing. Felt like we had a real good car to do it with. So come up just a little short, but we'll take a second place.
Absolutely, man. Well, it was a great recovery out there by you tonight. You came into the night sitting third in points. Not really sure how it's going to shake out, how much you're going to make up, but the top 2 drivers in the point standings not out there on track tonight, Kason Plott or David Bradford, neither of them on track, so maybe you'll gain quite a few on them. But what do you think heading into our next race, the High Banks, High Speed Talladega?
Russian roulette, man. You never know what's going to happen. Hopefully we can just keep the car clean and just bring it home in one piece.
All right, my man. Well, we won't keep you much longer. Before we let you go, would you like to give any shout-outs, thank yous, love yous?
Yeah, well, thank the family for letting me do this, putting up with me being down here as much as they do. Thanks for what you're doing up in the booth, and the guys putting on a show here, the admins. Those guys do a great job. Roy and Brian helping me out on track as much as they can. It's a great team effort. Appreciate it.
All right, well, there you have it. Some few final words from the driver walking away in the second position tonight. Now we will see if we can't go down trackside, get a few words in with your race winner of the GrassRoots 200, that 18 machine of Chris Mathis. It's Dave in the booth. You got a copy?
I got you, man.
Man, great job, great win. You were able to control most of the restarts in the later stages of the race. How much did that help you, having that clean air?
Oh, it helped a lot knowing as long as I could get a big buffer going into one. You know, on these new tires, it was real sketchy out here. Man, I think Bobby should have won this race, but I don't know what problems he had.
Yeah, you and him were basically the dominant cars of the evening, battling out back and forth. You were right there with him in stage number 1, fell off a little bit at the end of stage number 1, but then slowly it looked like you were making gains on him throughout the night, and you had the dominant car for the second half of the evening. With the stages falling the way that they did, not having to really worry about the fuel mileage, how much was the tire conservation part of the strategy for you and the 18 crew?
It was big. I mean, you know, you could run 3 or 4 laps, probably 5 laps, and you'd be down 95% on the tires. I mean, if the guys pit behind you, even on that, I mean, you just had to say what you could and pit when you could. But, I mean, I think I passed more cars going to the back. I had an EOL penalty. I spun Mark around. We started side by side on the front row one time, and I just knew. I apologized to him, and he didn't say nothing back to me, and I was like, here we go. And I just totally choked, wet the bed, leading the race and spin right there in front of everybody. Luckily, I didn't spin all the way around, but whew.
Well, my man, it was a great race. Great to watch you on those restarts. And that final restart was, you absolutely nailed it there. Took it to the house. So congratulations on a race win here. Coming towards the close of the season, that's going to set you up pretty in the points, or at least go to help your points battle. But yeah, man, congratulations. Before we let you go, you want to give any shout outs, thank yous, love yous?
I thank David and Bobby and everybody that helps put this league on, you guys for broadcasting, and yeah, that's it, man.
Well, man, go enjoy the champagne and all the fun that comes along with it, and we'll catch up with you in 2 weeks when we hit Talladega.
All right, man. Be careful out there.
There you have it. Some few final words from your race winner here tonight, the driver of the 18 machine, Chris Mathis. And, well, there he goes, burning it down, getting it back to pit road. We'll highlight a little bit more of this great action for you there, burning it down on screen for you. And, man, we had one heck of a race out there tonight, and not much left for us to do here in the Turn 3 Racing Network booth. Do want to thank each and every one of you for joining us here tonight for the GrassRoots 200 here from Superior Class Auto Racing, presented by Mug Root Beer. Your unofficial race results look a little something like this. Walking away with the race win, driver on screen. Still celebrating out there at Richmond International Raceway. the 18 of Chris Mathis. Walking away in the second position here tonight, the 80 of Brian Littleton, the 54 of Justin Napier will round out that top three. Coming home in fourth, the 13 of Roy Hyde, the 77 of Joshua Baker going to come in fifth. Brian Maskill Jr. bringing home the 33 in the sixth spot. Thomas McMullen going to finish in seventh. The 71 of Alan Dufries will come home in eighth. Colt Ansley and his 86 crew going to walk away in ninth. Mark Truxell will round out your top 10. The 23 of Mickey Spear going to come home in 11th. 12th will be Jeff Napier. Bobby Hamilton Jr. after leading the most laps of the race and capturing your pole position tonight. Unfortunate for him. Trouble, and he found himself finishing in the 13th spot. The 51 unable to start tonight's race. Mechanical issues kept him, as well as the 2 of Hayes Booth, behind the wall at the start of the race. And, well, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it. That's pretty much all there is. Join us once again in 2 weeks when we hit the high-speed high banks at Talladega Super Speedway. It's been another great show, another great night here on Turn 3 Racing Network. If you haven't already, give these drivers a thumbs up, click subscribe, smash the bell over there on the right-hand side. Get notified anytime we go live here on Turn 3 Racing Network. And, well, friends, stay safe, stay loved. We'll see you later.